All right, all right. Good evening, folks. Welcome to After Dark with Shawn Cornelius. I am your host, the romantic funny man, Shawn Cornelius, and I am so excited to be back in the saddle again with another show. Got a fantastic show for you, as I always say. Have a fantastic show. But before I do that, we get going. I want to say what's up to my right, my left hand. My right, which is Program Director DDC, Denise DeGiorgio Cooney, and also my left, Smoke back there, producer Smoke, sitting there getting ready to do the job for you that they normally do to make sure this show runs as smoothly as it's supposed to. Listen, also want to say what's going on. Good evening to everyone out there. To let you know, we are streaming live as we do this show. We stream live to social media. So I want to say what's going on to people on Facebook and for the folks out there on YouTube. And of course, BronxNet Television and DH1 TV. And if you're listening on Spotify, yeah, the show is doing very well. So I want to say hello to you and thank you for supporting. Now, tonight's guest, special guest, I love it when it's entertainers because, obviously I am one myself. But when I can connect with the guest and recall some of the things that they've done, then that's even more special. So this gentleman that's on the show tonight is a singer-songwriter, and he's formerly of the group Whistle. And I know you got to be a little old school to remember, but I'm going to bring him on. We're going to talk about some of the things that you might recognize. But I'm humbled to have him on tonight so that we can discuss that era of music, his career, and also what's going on with him right about now. So it's about 2 minutes after into the show. So that's the time I like to bring my guest in. Don't like to talk too much about. I'll let him do more talking about himself than I do. We'll get this thing going to have some fun. So welcome to After Dark with Shawn Cornelius, Mr. Brian Jazz Faust.
What's going on, brother?
Everything is good, man. How are you?
I'm maintaining, man. I
And
appreciate you
that's
having me, man. I want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you, man. Again, I'm just pleased. I want to shout out Tony Willis, a former manager of mine, and also a business partner with Brian with
Yes,
Jazz there.
yes. My
So,
manager now, my current manager. Yes.
yes, for connecting us. She's good people, and she should be watching. So who knows? Like you said, you'll find out if she is.
I'll find out if I am. If I'm out of pocket, she gonna definitely let me
She's
know.
gonna
She's
hit
gonna
you
give
up
me the
probably
business. Yes,
probably during
tonight.
the interview.
It'll buzz. The phone will buzz. She'll just interrupt
Yeah.
me, shut me
Well,
down, and just say, "Now you can go back in."
Well, listen, man. Again, I thank you for being here, and let's get into it, man. Before we get into the career stuff, for those that don't know, formal introduction. Tell the folks who you are, man. Where you from? I know where you're from. You are a New Yorker, so that's good right off the top.
No
So tell them
doubt.
who Brian is.
Born and raised Brooklyn, New York. Was born in East New York. Grew up in East New York at Crown Heights, but primarily my teenage years were spent in Flatbush. We moved to Flatbush finally. Um, Music has always been a part of my family as far as the love of it, um, and just being exposed to it. So, and Brooklyn has its own rich musical history in rap as well as R&B. So those influences definitely played a part in my upbringing. But man, I'm just a dude from Brooklyn. You know what I mean? That got with some of his childhood friends, man. They try to what we all wanted to do back then, make a record, man. At the end of the
Yeah,
day.
and you ended up you actually ended up doing that.
Yeah, we
You
did.
made several records. You made several
Yeah,
records.
we did. We
So
did. We did a
you
couple. We
you're
love some.
from formerly of the group Whistle. I remember Whistle.
Yes, sir.
The song I remembered honestly was the Just Bugging song.
Yeah,
When
that's
you
our first
guys
song.
the first track back,
That's our
and that
first
was
song.
what 1980.
That was
Uh,
85. It was actually 85. It was released at the end of 85, but it took off in 1986.
yeah, yeah, and I actually went back to watch. I watched the video last night, but I remember, and
Yeah, I
then
had
you got
hit it. Yeah, it hit it. It was
yeah,
well. I was a lot smaller than two, but yeah.
So
Yes, sir.
let's talk about it then. Let's talk about the group. Let's talk about the band. Now, you started singing young. You said music has always been in your life. Was it just singing, or was it instruments, or both, or a combination?
Well, I never played an instrument. I think the only thing I was around. I think my aunt played flute, like my mother's baby sister, if I remember, or clarinet. It was a clarinet.
Okay,
Um, but
okay,
and she sang. But as far as like, um, just my the influences. It was you grow up with R&B, and adult contemporary music at that time, which was pop music. Um, you get a that's what you did back then, bro. There wasn't
right,
any social media. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't allowed to watch TV for
mm,
long periods of time. We had certain sections, and most of the time that was like Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon, and that was it. Now you could probably watch a show with your parents, but primarily we was outside.
right,
So if you was outside, you was either doing sports, you was either, what I'm saying, in the streets, or you was doing music. That's what it was. It was just something culturally, or playing ball, you know what I'm saying? You doing
hmm,
something, but culturally, as far as New York City is concerned, on a musical level, you know, it's very energetic, it's very it's got its own vibe to it. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Um, and created one of the greatest, genres of all, which is hip hop. So, it's definitely it was definitely influential, man. Everything it was so normal that if you knew somebody that rhymed, or if you knew somebody that sang, or you knew somebody that played in a band or danced, or even played ball, it was like, okay, it was almost like that's what you do. Like if this is
yeah,
what you do, this is what you do. And it's a certain level that you do it to if you're serious about your craft. You know what I'm saying?
sure, sure,
So that's how it was. And
yeah,
that's what you saw. And dudes would clown you. You know what I mean? Like you may get beat down if you was as thorough as you said you was. You know what I
sure,
mean? So you had to, it was also that element to it. And it
yeah.
and it was just different. It was viewed different. You know what I'm
I,
saying? Than it is now.
I totally connect with you because I had a singing group back in college, and that was
No doubt.
83, 84,
Hmm.
85, 86. We still call ourselves some kind of a group today, but we're just still friends.
Yeah,
So that whole singing thing was what it was. That's why I said in the intro to welcome, I can connect with you on that
no doubt.
level because of
No
that
doubt.
era, the 80s. And you
Yes,
guys
sir.
kicked in right before the 90s boy bands and all those other things, and probably influenced a lot of that stuff from record labels forming these groups and doing things on that. So the level of again, Whistle was a combination of R&B and hip hop. And where did you guys tell us the quick history? Where did you meet? How did you meet? Did you like you said, if you knew somebody, you knew somebody. So you guys
Right.
knew each other.
Well, no, just connected. Like when I was growing up in East New York, um, like Daddy-O and Stetzer Sonic, they lived up Bradford
Okay,
Street, like that way going towards. It was still East New York, but it's like it's kind of funny to say, but if you think about East New York, if you think about in Brooklyn, in that section of Brooklyn, it's like it's like dual cities that stretch up to a certain point. You know what I'm saying?
sure.
And it's like the blocks, it's like it's lengthy, but it's right next to each other. So
Okay,
it's like you have Brownsville where you got MOP, you know what I'm saying, our whole first family clique, and then you got, you know what I'm saying, Brownsville and Boot Camp clique. You know what I'm saying? You got all of that, and then you got Stetzer up this way, and Fat Boys is from East New York. So Bad Boys is from East New York, our old school group as well. So I knew that three of the Bad Boys, three of the members, I knew them.
okay,
I grew up with them.
sure.
So you know that being an influence, you know what I'm saying. Then knowing them when I moved to Flatbush and I was in high school, my high school sweetheart, one of her best friends who went to school with us, was dating Kango Kid from UTFO.
Okay,
And I told her I wanted to meet him. And she was supposed to introduce me to him. But what happened is their other best friend um, used to dance at Alvin Ailey. And my homegirl Andrea Martin. Excuse me, Andrea Fair with a Bailey. Martin. That's another Andrea. But
okay,
anyway, she she danced at Avon Ailey, so I went with her and her brother to watch her one day. And Kango and the rest of the whole group got on the train. And that's how I met Kango, and we started talking, hooked up, and just basically hit it off. Doobie from the group Whistle, I actually had seen Doobie before in a house party rhyming, and I thought he was dope. But I didn't know he lived on Kango's block because I hadn't met Kango yet. So when I
Okay.
went to hang out with Kango on his block, Doobie happened to be home from school. Doobie used to go to the University of Maryland, and he was actually home from school. So he just on some hangout stuff. We Kango introduced us, and we just hit it off. So then it turned out when Kango would be on the road, I would be with Doobie, and we
Okay.
just started becoming closer. So Silver Spinner, our DJ, used to be or the DJ of the group because he was a member of the group. He used to manage UTFO and plus go to high school with Kango.
Mm. Mm.
So that's how our connection with Silver. We knew him through that. And Doobie also is an original member of UTFO. It was when it was called UFO and it was a neighborhood group.
Right.
So, but when Doobie went to school, that's when Kango, Doc E, Ice, what I'm saying, they did, they signed a deal.
Right.
So that's basically how we knew each other and how we met. And
Right.
from there, me, Doobie, and Silver formed the group Whistle. Of
Right.
course, me and Doobie was a group before Silver came,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as the group Whistle is concerned, we all three. Um,
Right.
Doobie wanted him, thought he was dope as a DJ, told me he was dope. He had heard him. I hadn't heard him yet. I hear him yet at that point. And, of course, which he turned out to be a dope DJ, but, we put him in a group and that's how we moved. That's how we connected.
Yeah, so it's basically relationships, which is like with anything.
Yes,
It's relationships form, or this person knows that person, or that person knows
exactly.
that person, or this one. You just happen
Exactly.
to be in the mix and the flux of the hip hop
Exactly.
thing and people who were
Hmm.
movers. So
Yeah.
who were some of your influences, Jazz? Because you're a singer, and we'll get into your solo stuff. But who are some of your influences? Because obviously, coming through the '80s, and if you have the parents that we all had, you heard all kind of music, especially on them
No
Saturdays.
doubt.
Who are some of your influences musically?
Definitely, the greats, the Stevie Wonders, the the Luther Vandross, um, Barry Whites, the Teddy Pendergrasses, the Smokey Robinson, the Temptations, the Michael Jackson, the Jackson Five, all of that.
Hmm.
Parliament Funkadelic, all of that. But my own, but even being influenced by that, like some of my personal favorites was like James D Train Williams.
Yes, sir.
Like I'm a huge D Train fan. Um and I know like listening to him like energized me. Um I want to say his name was Raheem LeBon, who used to sing the lead for GQ.
That's the correct date.
From
Yes.
GQ.
Yes, sir.
Him, Raheem. Um, Definitely. Um, Michael Prince. I mean, it, I'm. It was with me in music. I'm different in the respect of that, and not I'm saying I'm different from anybody else, but I gotta connect with you. I gotta feel you. So if I feel you, I'm gonna feel you on a level of artistic um greatness and dynamics.
Got you.
So
Got you.
when I didn't know what made me gravitate towards D Train until years later. And then when years later came and I actually met him, I knew what it was. It was his harmonies. It was his emotion that he would put in the song and his approach to it, his cadences. You know what I'm saying? And then he had a certain type of tone to his voice. And it was almost as if his voice it was like he was using it as an instrument, like a tone to be within the music.
Yes, sir.
And then I would listen to Prince doing it and Raheem doing it. And it just made me want to hone my voice to get to that level. Um, but being, I'm self-taught. I never had vocal training. I never had a
Okay.
formal training, excuse me, formal
Hmm.
vocal training. I just basically worked at it. It's something that I wanted to do. I thought I could do it. And
Yeah.
I was very timid, you know what I'm saying? But I was also blessed to be around, um, especially in Whistle, two phenomenal singers in Craze and Turk, because they they didn't know that, but they pushed me
Sure.
because I felt like I needed to be on their same level. And I knew that with me, I'm not an acrobatic singer. I don't do a lot of runs. That's
Mm-hmm.
not my style. And which is, I'm not, I'm not against it. You got Charlie Wilson, you got Aaron, you feel me, and Joe, and different cats that rock like that. And
Yes.
RL, you know what I mean? And Murder It. Of course, Wanye and KC JoJo. But that's not my style. I don't do that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I had to find that level, that balance to where I connected. And you know, I just was blessed, man. Musically, I wasn't around cats that people may think like was important,
Mm-hmm.
but they were. And the level of importance that they was at was on a uniqueness. You know what I'm saying? They played roles in the greatness of things.
Sure.
And I think when you meet people in that respect, their influence is great. Of course, I would have loved to chat around Prince and talk to him, and you know what I'm saying, sit around Sly Stone and talk to
No
them. Of
doubt.
course
No
I
doubt.
would. But to
No.
sit around those who already picked their brain and I connect with them, it made me feel like I gained a role, not necessarily in their legacy, but I was able to touch that energy. You feel me?
Right. Yeah. When you talk about greatness, I mean, from what I read, and then we'll get into some of your greatness, on another level of writing. Keith Sweat, you guys were connected with Keith at some
Yeah.
point.
Well, not Whistle, but myself.
Not Whistle, right? The next,
Right,
this
right,
this next group
right,
on that
right.
level.
After I left Whistle, I formed a group with Free of In Touch, which is Two Hype fame. And
Yes. Yes.
also Touch. There also was the group Touch that did Without You, the big club banger back in the '80s too.
Mm-hmm.
So Free did 3 songs on the last Whistle album that we had
Okay.
done. And I remember that Free was Free. That's how we knew Vincent, because Free was part of In Touch, which was signed to Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And Entertainment was the first label that Keith was signed to. That he did
Right.
Make It Last Forever and I'll Give All My Love to You. Like
Exactly.
those 2 albums. So Vincent, that's how I wasn't necessarily connected to Keith. Free and Vincent were, but I was in that next generation of entertainment artists that
Sure.
came after that. We just never came out because
Right.
the label lost the deal with the distribution deal with Elektra, and then we broke up anyway. So I mean, we still cool, but I'm just saying that we just broke up and we started. We started as producers together, like that's
Right.
what it was, and then we made a group. So
Yeah.
um it was probably more so. I mean, I thought it would have been a dope group, but I think that it was a vibe and an era that we was doing then. But that's how we knew Keith, or I
Sure.
was connected to Keith, I should
And,
say.
and and that's what I was saying, because this runs right into my next conversation. So this is cool. You're not just a singer. You wrote songs in the
Yes,
group.
sir.
You're a songwriter.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
I'm a songwriter as well, and I know that we get our inspiration from life,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
emotions, situations.
Yes, sir.
Did you know you had the gift of songwriting back then? Did it come naturally? And what was the first thing you wrote? Not specifically for Whistle, but the first
uh,
thing you wrote that you was like, maybe this could be a song.
um, that's funny. Nobody's ever asked me that. Um, I the song I wrote was a song. I was a kid. I was like 14, I think.
Yeah, we'll take it.
I was like 14. And the name of the song was Sugar Baby. And I just had this melody in my head and I just sang to it. It was monotone, it was the same thing, it didn't change. But I don't know. The funny thing is I never thought about it.
Right.
It was like I heard people sing songs. I didn't know. I mean, because when I got into music, I was a kid. Like I was a young kid. I would sit in
Sure.
my grandmother's basement and just play records and records and records and records and records. It
Right.
wasn't even about um, it was just I love music. I love to listen to it. So for me, when I heard lyrics, it was like, oh, they singing a song. I gotta write a song like that and sing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I
Right.
thought about it. Like the I didn't separate the singing and writing.
Okay.
I
Right.
just thought like, yo, if you sing, you write
What
songs. Like
you're
that's what you
singing what
do.
you wrote.
You
Right.
right, you
Yeah.
sing what you wrote. All right. And
Yeah.
then as I got into business, I found out that other people, they write and you can sing what they write. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So we can collaborate. Like that's how I thought about it. Even with rhyming and even with MC.
Sure.
And making records, it was the same thing. It wasn't, I didn't MCs. And I was an MC before I mean, I always sang, but I was an MC. So you write your rhymes. Like if you write your rhymes, you write songs.
Sure.
That's what you do. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah. Yeah.
it wasn't until I started analyzing songs that I really liked lyrically that I saw who wrote what and who didn't write. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody else may have written the different things that they wrote. So um I would say that it did come to me naturally because I love
Mhm.
words,
Sure.
but it wasn't anything that I could say I consciously set out to do. Now, what I consciously set out to do once I started was to get better.
Right.
Like I made a conscious effort, and I was always iffy about the early stuff that I wrote, but it wasn't until I actually, which is funny, hooked up with Free, and I had wrote something and I sang it to him. And I remember he said to me, he was like, I like that. He said, but you he said, you saying what he said, you saying you talking about love, but you saying it on a surface level. He's like, you saying it like everybody else say it. He said,
Right.
say it how you say it. He said, I want to know what you think, how you feel about it. What's your viewpoint? How does love make you feel? What is your vision of it? And when he said that, um, it changed everything for me because I never wrote from any other perspective again.
Yeah. Right.
I
Right.
I
And then,
felt like right at that
no, I'm
point I
sorry.
always wrote from. I'm not. It's all good. I
Yeah.
just wrote from a place of if I was that person, or if I felt this way, or if I was in this situation, what would I do? Or if
That's
I
what I
was
was
that
gonna say.
person, how would I handle it?
I was gonna
That's
say.
how I
Yeah.
wrote.
Because
That's all I just thought.
then you started experiencing your own stuff
Hmm.
from your own perspective
Hmm.
that you might not have experienced, but you were just thinking about what this person was, but you were able to go deeper in depth with your writing.
Exactly.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. So you we talked about Whistle. You guys had a little run, then
Hmm.
that disbanded. You got into the other group, had a little
Hmm.
run. Then you that disbanded and you went solo. You did some solo things, and
Hmm.
this is where we are pretty much today. You were doing
Yes,
some
sir.
things. What is that like? Because I know for me personally, being in a
Hmm.
group, what is that like? What was it like for you to have that group dynamic and then be now solo? Did it give you more freedom? Did you miss the group thing, or is it better for you solo?
Um, I would be lying if I say I don't miss it. Um, I miss the dynamics of the group being in the respect of the camaraderie, the the energy. I bounce ideas off of people. I don't like to think about myself. I mean, I know what my gut feels like, but I don't think of myself in the perspective like I know everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But um the funny thing is that I never wanted to be solo. That's why I was in two groups because I never set out to be solo. Me being solo came from a place of literally, and this is the truth, came from a place of other people not being as into the group concept as I was,
Mm-hmm.
or or and I should say, and um we just not seeing the same thing idea wise. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying? So it was more so a situation in whereas I was like, okay, well, I know what I hear and I know how I feel like I should do it.
mm-hmm.
So the only way that I'm gonna be able to do it is to do it for me, is do it myself. So that's
Right.
really where that came from. I loved being in Whistle. I loved being in Group Home Productions, GHP, especially GHP. I loved it. Like I loved it. Like
And what was it about that made it feel so, like the way you're expressing it now about that
um,
group?
well, with Whistle, I was a kid, and I went from being I was a younger, I was turning 18, but I wasn't a adult. So I was a
Uh-huh.
young adult, a young teen, or older teen, I should say,
Mhm.
and getting ready to transfer into the manhood of the 19 to 20, 21. And my viewpoint of music was always timid. It wasn't I knew what I liked, but when I would present it, I wasn't supported with it. So I just would be quiet and go back in my role to do whatever as far as Whistle was concerned.
Sure.
And not in a negative way. It was just that sometimes people don't see what you see or hear what you hear or vibe what you vibe. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it wasn't anything like, oh, they was hating. No, it wasn't that. They didn't vibe with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um or or I wouldn't say if it wasn't that they didn't vibe with it, it didn't motivate them or connect with them enough to they could be like, yo, let's rock with that, Jazz. It wasn't like that.
Sure.
But Group Home was like the dog, it was like the ultimate musical dream.
Mm-hmm.
I'm signed to a label that's distributed by a major, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which in that era people wanted, because you want the exposure comes with it
Sure.
and the financial push. But I was actually doing what I want to do.
Okay. I get it.
You understand?
Yeah.
With like the dude that owned the label, his name was Vincent Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Vincent would literally block 2 weeks of studio time, 4 days in a row that we might miss a day not because he wouldn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
because somebody had already booked it. But if it was like, if he went to book something, and let's say we had 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, and
Mm-hmm.
that first weekend was taken, and the other weekend was open, Vincent's taken from Monday to Sunday.
Right. Right.
So we're literally in the studio all the time. I'm 22, maybe. I think I'm like 22.
Yeah.
I'm 22 years old. I'm signed to this label. I can do anything that I want. I got my mentor and my OG, what I'm saying, who's opened my mind up as far as writing is concerned. He rocking with me. Then I got my man Will Skills, who was from the group Pure Blend, originally sang like background for Nice and Smooth. Me and Will are connected on a level as far as singers together. I've never felt that again. Like
Wow.
me and Will were so entwined with each other that it was a joy for us to sing with each other. Like I know it. I saw it. I felt it. We
Mm,
loved it. Like,
cool.
and not that I loved singing with Whistle like he loved singing with Pure Bullet, but it was different with me and him. It was like, yo, I get it. He was like, yo, I get it. It was
Right.
like we got it. You know what I'm saying? Like I could sing a line and Will would just come in. Right, what as soon as I ended, it would be like right then. He would know. And I would
Right.
do the same thing. He would do something and I would come behind it. I would just know, like,
You talk about chemistry.
right. And it's
Yeah.
like, but the type of level, if I could explain it best, it's like how Jordan and Pippen was, or
Mm,
how Bill and Wall were. You understand
mm.
what I'm saying? Like when
I
you
got
got a guard and a point guard, and they tight. You know what I'm saying? Like
it.
how Clay and Steph is. It's different. I never felt that before.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
When I got with that situation and Will came in the group, it was like, yo, it's like we wanted to sing forever. Like it was like, yo, we gonna sing forever. Like
Yeah.
that's the type of connection that we had. And Free is such an innovative person that, and then Will started doing tracks because he didn't start. He came in as a singer. Then he started doing tracks, and it was amazing. So it was like we all could do all of this stuff, just the three of us. It was like, and then my man Rashid, rest in peace, and him and Will both passed. But my man Rashid was like the hype man. Yo, crazy. It was like we was an R&B group with a hip hop vibe to it, like a street hip hop vibe.
Yeah.
But we had the ill hype man. Like he wasn't like Star is the Buster, but for us as an R&B group, he was
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
like he was our cheerleader. Like he was a hard dude, the God Rashid. But
Right.
it was so that vibe, man. It just, and then I met my best friend, my man Mike Keys, who I'm a partner with production wise now on my production team. The Real, along with my boy Norizi, my other best friend. It just brought me so much maturity. It brought me so much freedom, and it gave me my best friend. You know what I'm saying? Musically in my life, that's the happiest time I've ever been.
Right. Well, Jazz, check this out. Usually I take a break about now, but I just want to ask one more question before we take a break, because I really want the people to know what you're up to right now. So that's one of the best things about having your own platform. You can kind of do what you need to do. So I want to expand on that so that the people know, and then we'll take a break whenever. What are you doing now? Because Jazz, you changed your name from Jazz to something else. So,
yes, sir. I just changed it to Mr. Jazz Lover. It's always been jazz since I was 14 years old.
Okay.
So it was jazz, like Jazzy B, then it was Jazz Ski, then it was Jazz for years. And it still is. You know what I'm saying? If people call me Jazzy Jazz, I'm still that. But just before I left Whistle, the funny thing is that I was at a show, and I was just gonna say, I'm just gonna leave with Jazz, but you had Jazzy Jeff, the DJ, and then you had the Jazz and Jazzo, the MC and producer and singer, because Jazzo can sing too. And I just wanted to put my spin on it, like my vibe. And I was at a show in this. It was this young lady, and she was trying to get my attention. And she was cute, but she was trying to get my attention. And she said, somebody else was talking to me, and my face was turned the direction. And she said, "What's up, Jazz Lava?" And when she said that, I looked at her, and I was like, "I like that." It's like, I really like that. So, and then the smell I got from Red Hot Lover Tone from Tone and Polka, the track master. You know what I'm saying? He called himself Red Hot Lover Tone, and I like the way he spelt it. You know what I'm saying? So I stole it from him. Tone's my man. He good. But I stole spelling from him. But and then it was Cool Jazz Lover back then. And when I was in group home, it was Cool Jazz Lover. So afterwards, I was like, I'm not young. I just felt like the Mister was grown.
Okay, cool.
You know what I'm saying? And I just liked it.
It's like kind of reinventing on a certain level,
kinda,
reinventing yourself, kind of, yeah.
The grown man, the grown and sexy jazz.
Jazz
Lover. That's
I'm so glad you said that, because that's going to lead into this break, and then we're going to come back and put the love of Mr. Jazz Lover in the romantic on the love seat and inside the love zone. So I appreciate it. We're gonna definitely continue to talk some more with Jazz. I want you guys to stick it out and hang out. We'll be right back. Take this short break. We're After Dark with Shawn Cornelius. Hang tough.
Yo, what's happening? This is Tay Diggs here. Walking alongside Malik Yoba, Dougie Fresh, and Kid Capri. We are supporting Shawn Cornelius and Enough is Enough to stop the senseless killings. And one step at a time, we will get there. Let's keep our eyes on the prize, and let's let our anger and frustration, let's take that energy and use it in a positive way to make change. Because God knows we need it. All right, y'all. Try to stay up. Peace.
Hi, this is actor-writer Vince Edgill, and you're watching After Dark with Shawn Cornelius.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to After Dark with Shawn Cornelius, when my special guest, Jazz, formerly of Whistle, and now Solo Man, and he's now changed his name because he's a grown lover. so this is the part of the show where thank you for a great first half. That was a great
I
first half
appreciate it.
conversation.
Thank you, boss.
Yeah. So now I understand, listening to you, the romantic in you. I heard that you have. I heard you have a little bit of power. So I need you to help me out right now and just say abracadabra, sir.
Abracadabra.
See how easy that was?
That's good too.
See, you wasn't even secure with it, and you still
I
said, hey,
wasn't.
look what happened.
I just, hey, I didn't know where I was going with it, but I got
Hey,
you.
I got you. I got you, brother. I got you. So here's what it is. You are now in the love zone, and you're on the love seat. This is the second half where I get your opinions on love, romance, relationships, and or whatever. You down?
Okay. No doubt.
All right, cool. And then we'll go back into something else special that I want to ask you. So the first question I always ask all my guests in the second half is, what is your definition of love, and why is it important to you?
Wow. What is my definition of love? Love is honestly, I believe love is friendship and understanding and accepting one for who they are and what they bring to the table. Um, I think that we we spend too much time focusing on what we want instead of how we can um, make someone happy because we don't know how to make ourselves happy. Um, and I feel like if if I know what makes me happy and I'm happy within myself and I'm secure within myself and you're the same way, then you don't have to try to make me happy. And I don't have to try to make you happy. But in the interim, that's what we're gonna do
Sure.
because I'm secure with myself, you're secure with yourself. We're gonna blend that way. So I would say love is it's funny because I'm old enough to remember this used to have this phrase used to be love is, and it was like little things.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if it was gnomes or whatever, but um, love is transparency, man, and love is honesty and truth and
Cool.
acceptance. I would say
Right.
that's what it means to me.
All right. And well, I kind of heard your answer in your definition, but why is that important to you
Um,
personally?
because I think that you know you need those things in order to be vulnerable, to be open, and allow yourself to let somebody in a space inside of you that is very sacred, very deep, and very guarded most of the time.
Okay.
And basically is part of your essence of your being. And to allow somebody that deep with what I'm saying, in that energy space in your inside of us is it's scary. So you want to know that whoever you give that opportunity to can bring those things, is transparent, is
Sure.
accepting, is what I'm saying? I
Yes.
mean, of course, loyalty and all the rest of that, but I want you to be loyal because you want to be, not because you feel obligated to be because of the dynamics of a relationship.
Hmm.
So that's why I didn't put loyalty as um, a requirement or what it means to be, but more so of a byproduct. And to me, it should be a byproduct and an expectation.
Sure. Got you.
You
Good
feel
answer.
me?
Good answer.
Yes, sir.
Totally. Next one. Romance. What is your definition of romance, and why is that important to you?
Um, I know this is gonna kill me, and my name is the lover, but I haven't really been as romantic as I probably should have been in my past.
Okay.
Definitely. But I think that romance is doing something that your significant other will make them smile and make them reminisce on that. Um, it's it's about being caring and showing affection.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that when you do that, you have to do something that that person, you understand what I'm saying, affects them. It's in with their realm of enjoyment and pleasure.
Right.
Not like it's don't get me wrong, it's nothing with giving somebody a dozen roses or 2 dozen roses, thousands of roses, all of that's cool. But if that's I would rather, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that to somebody that really love roses and really want that. You understand what I'm saying? You can't just
Right.
do that and think that every person is going to be impressed by that. Like, come on.
Sure.
Or
Right.
let me take you out to dinner. It's like, no, let me take you out to dinner because I should be taking you out to dinner anyway. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And within that, taking you out to dinner, then let me be romantic. The conversation can be romantic. You know what I'm saying? Romance is something that to me, I feel like, and I know people may think this is corny, but this is how I feel. Like you could walk down the street with somebody, like a New York City street in the summertime. You understand? And you walking down y'all, and she got her arm around you, like in your arm.
Right.
And her head
Yeah.
is on your shoulder, and y'all walking. That's romantic.
Sure.
Talk to her. You understand what I'm saying? Talk to her. Find out what she is, what her thoughts is, what her dreams are, where she's trying to go. If you connect with that, if you could grow and go with her together, that's romantic to me. That's
Okay.
love to me. You feel
Got you.
me?
I do. I definitely do, brother. So that
Yes, sir.
makes me ask you this next one because you said it before you answered. You said you could have been more romantic than you
Yeah, I
are.
could have been romantic.
Where would you put yourself now on a scale of 1 to 10? Where would you put yourself on the romantic scale?
I wouldn't rate myself on a romantic scale. And the reason why I wouldn't rate myself on a romantic scale because I don't think that that would be accurate and I don't think that that would be true. That for me to rate myself on a romantic scale would be me projecting what I would do. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like where I am in my life now,
Mm-hmm.
that if I feel you like that, then I have a lot to prove.
Mm-hmm.
Not in an overboard sense, but in a consistent sense. So
Sure.
to me, it's like it's like perfect example. I'm gonna use a lot of basketball analogies because I'm a real basketball head.
Okay. I got you.
But it's like KG as far as when he first started on the Timberwolves, when he was on the Timberwolves with Stephon.
Mm-hmm.
We knew KG was gonna be great, but the level of greatness depends. You understand what I'm saying? You may
Yep.
count greatness in rings, you may count greatness in plays. So we knew he was gonna be great, but to sit up there and ask him, yo, on a scale of 1 to 10, would you say your greatness is? He can't say that. Not if he being honest with himself, because you haven't done anything yet. I haven't. I said I could have been. Now, have I done romantic things? Yes, I have throughout my life. Yes, I have. But to the level that I probably should have done, I haven't done that yet.
Well, that's honest.
Because, and that's what I'm saying, because I haven't had the opportunity again to be as consistent as I would like to be. So I'm still on that road. I'm still on that journey. You know what I'm saying? I still got to get that ring first before I
I
come
feel
back
you.
and talk about my careers. That's where I'm at with it. So it's not that I'm not doing it. It's just
Yeah.
that I'm not
Right.
at. I didn't do nothing yet. I ain't
That's
a
what I'm
ring yet.
saying. That would be my
You know what I'm
response
saying?
because if you say that you've done romantic things in your life, you may not
Right.
have considered because of the way how you are with yourself.
Right.
So, like you mentioned, the walking with the young lady with her head on your
Yeah.
shoulder, I'm sure you've done that. You know, I'm sure
Yeah.
you take
Yeah.
giving a woman flowers. Those are
Yeah.
romantic things. But the way you're
Right.
judging it on your own levels, I appreciate that because I've done over 70 something interviews and no one's ever said I can't call it right now. I've had people tell me they're on the number 1,000. I said 1 to
Yeah, I
10.
know.
So it
Mhm.
depends on
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
yeah, it's
And
all
it's about the
wonderful.
viewpoint. It's about the
It's an
viewpoint.
individual. It's an individual thing.
But to
Exactly.
me, because I know people that would call me out, be like, "What you never did?" What am I saying? It's the real. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? And if they was,
I got
you know what I'm saying? If they was, especially my wife, if that, I'm gonna hear that. Like I already know.
sure.
But but the real is the real, and I'm just saying that you have to, when you really trying to change, or when you really make a change, you acknowledge stuff that you've done or haven't done. That's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not because you're trying to be a martyr, not because you're trying to show special, because you're trying to teach. You're supposed to teach those that come out. Listen, I did that. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you that based on my boom. This is what happened. Don't do that.
Right.
Do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? A lot of it has to do with that for me. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like I
Transparent.
move like that. Yes, sir.
Transparent. Yeah, that's cool.
Now. Yeah.
Now you do. All right.
Right.
So give me this. You mentioned a couple of things, but we all know that the foundation of a relationship has got to have respect, honesty, and trust. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Tonight, for this show, while you're sitting on this show right now, you get to take one of those away and still have a secure and a successful relationship. Which one are you going to remove? Because just
Okay.
because I asked
Okay. Tell me the three
you,
again.
respect, honesty,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
trust.
That's a hard one.
Everybody says that.
Um, the one I'm gonna take away. Honestly.
You take away honesty. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can choose to tell me why or not, because again, this is
I'll tell you why.
okay.
Because when if you don't respect me, then you're gonna do anything that you want to do. Because you don't respect me. You don't respect how I feel, you don't respect what I think. You understand what I'm saying? So if you
Yeah.
have respect for me, you're gonna move differently. See what I'm saying? So if if you know I'm a person that's not gonna tolerate certain things, you may do them, but you're not gonna do them disrespectfully.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, if I can't trust you, then there's no respect there. And anything that you say or anything that you promise or anything that you commit to, I can't trust you. There's nothing solid to build on.
Right.
So you need to respect me, and I need to be able to trust you. Now, as far as the honesty part is concerned, the reason why I would let that go out of the three, because sometimes when they be honest may hurt me. To the point that it may, I'm not saying necessarily me, but I'm just saying in general.
Right.
It may
Right.
hurt me or derail me in such a way that I can't come back. So you may have to be dishonest
Sure. Sure.
out of
I get
respect, and I trust you.
right. All right.
I'm just
Cool.
saying, but not that I want all three, but I'm just saying that you feel me.
Yeah, I feel you totally. All right,
So
Jazz.
it's like it changes the honesty part. It changes the honesty. It changes not if you can be honest, but how honest you will be.
Right. Exactly.
I'm nice with words, baby.
I got you, brother. I'm ahead of you. I got you. That's why I came up with the questions.
Nice with
So
the verbs.
here we go. I'm gonna flip this around because of you. Because of when I have certain guests on, I kind of like to mold the show around them. All right. So before I do the last part of the show, which will get you up out of here, I need to ask you to do me a solid because we talked about your singing, we talked about your songwriting, we talked about the groups, we talked about that. I would like to know, because there's people out here, it's not just me, would like to hear you sing. Are you willing to do a little something Are you willing to do a little something for the people? Not for Shawn Cornelius, not because it's my platform, but we could do it. You know, you could take 2 minutes and just throw a little something down because I know you got new stuff coming. I know you got some things. You know, all right. I'm not gonna try to reel you in because I think you're gonna do it. Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a close up, and I'm gonna let you do your thing. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Jazz.
Stop running. You have stolen my heart. I'm gone. Stop calling. You know exactly where I am. Do it all. Just your touch and your presence. It helps me maintain. So when I say I love you forever, it's never in vain. I think I gave enough, man.
My man.
And I'm a little tired, so excuse me.
No, listen, brother, you did it, though. And I'm gonna tell you something. DDC is back there smiling and grinning and throwing her hands up in the air because whenever there's a singer on the show, she always wants me to go ask him or her to sing. But some people don't, you know, they don't want to just jump out and do it. But she says bravo, man, and I appreciate it so much. Yeah, so here we go, man. We're gonna do this fun little game. We're gonna finish up and let you out of here. It's actually called I call it favorites. If you look at your screen, there's more magic going on. So I'm just gonna call out a few things, and you just give me your favorites, and then we move on. All right. So this is to let the people know a little bit more about who you are.
What's up? Let's go.
All right, here we go. Favorite food?
Lasagna.
Lasagna. Okay. Favorite now this might be a little difficult because you're a musician, you're a singer. Favorite song all time?
Man. Superstar by Luther Vandross.
It's a good one. Good one. All right. Favorite movie all time?
I'm not a big movie person, but if I had to say it, I would probably say, man. I know this is gonna bug people out, but I would say Coolie High.
No, that's a
Coolie High.
Now you got Smoke in the back, but producer going crazy because he's an old school cat and he loves Coolie High as well. So he dancing around backstage. Okay, all right, Coolie High.
Now I'm a big Spike Lee dude though, like his early work. So I would say after that, it would probably be like a whole bunch of Spike joints.
Spikeless. Okay.
But I'm not a big movie buff type of person. But and John Singleton.
I feel you.
I'm huge on him. So, but
I just watched Four Brothers the other night.
Yeah. But Coolie High,
yes.
Definitely.
Okay. Favorite book you've ever read?
The Autobiography of Malcolm X.
I don't know why, and I'm not trying to say that I'm a psychic, but I swear that was right at the top on my head right before you said it. I said, okay, all right, cool. That works. All right, favorite vacation spot?
I'm not a big vacation person, man. Even when I was in Whistle and we went around, it was like always, wherever I am, like wherever home is for me, I'm good there. Like I can go to other places, enjoy it, but I'm not. I would probably say I'd have to see like not necessarily places like always. I would have to see like pictures of places. Like I've seen things where they have like these little hotels. On the room is on the water. I would like to go to some place. I would like to go there. But if that's in like Florida, I'm gonna go there. Like you know what I'm saying? Now
it'll be that
Aruba,
then.
I'm gonna go there. So it's not necessarily like that's my favorite. I would have to experience first. But I'm not a big. I haven't other than with the group. I haven't really been a big traveler.
Okay. All right. This one is in your ballpark. Favorite songwriter of all time or songwriters? Because it could be a team, it could be solo.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I know, being a songwriter, you have studied probably and know of some of the greatest songwriters ever.
I can give you in errors. I
Okay,
can't give you just one. So if you let me give you an errors, then I'll give it to you like
go
that.
ahead, knock it off. Like, yeah, that's cool.
Gamble and Huff,
Got to be in there.
McFadden Whitehead,
Mm-hmm.
and Thom Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Prince. There's one more.
Okay.
Because I might get crucified for this one, so I got to think about what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and it's kind of because there are so many great ones.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's hard, and just hear me out. It's hard when we start to get into the 90s, the 2000s, and beyond. And the reason why is because of those people Stevie Wonder, because of those people and Luther Vandross and Marcus Miller, because of
Mm-hmm.
those people right there.
Yeah.
I got to be real. Because of those people right there, they spawned so many of us
Yep.
that I can't say. It would be unfair for me to not mention RL. You understand what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
then Raphael Sadiq.
Yeah. No, man.
You know what
Listen.
I'm saying?
Trust me. I knew when I asked the question.
And then, Devontae and Albie, sure. You feel me? And Babyface. God, how could I forget Baby?
Listen. I didn't want to do it to you. I was going to say.
My God, how could I forget Babyface?
Babyface.
So it's so many. There's so many of us. I mean, and then of course we have the females, Jill Scott and Lauryn Hill, and Erykah Badu. You know what I'm saying? You got Lettucey. I mean, you got so many. Vivian Green. It's so many.
That's
You
why I knew,
understand what I'm
especially for a musician.
Jaguar, right? Yeah, it's
yeah,
so many.
I get
man.
it.
It's like
In that box.
Man, the dude's name just flashed past my face, man.
Yeah.
Maxwell.
That's good. That's
Maxwell.
good. That's it. I'll take that. That's
so
cool.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's just so many, man. Because and people may say, "Well, no, that they didn't write this." No, if the only record Maxwell had ever written was Pretty Wings, he still. You know what I'm saying? And no disrespect to R. Kelly. R. Kelly's a great. I think R. Kelly's a musical genius, but lyrically,
yeah.
As far as emotionally, I think that you hear more of his music. I think that when he sings, that the passion comes out more when he sings and plays, and his overall composition. But lyrically, Pretty Wings.
One of those great songs,
What he's
man.
saying. So that's my point. So when you have that, if you just did that, just like when I heard that Al wrote, you know what I'm saying, Forever My Lady. I mean, it's just certain things, man, that you gotta, it make you sit back and it's short. Divine. It's so many people out there, man. I couldn't even say that. But if I had to, it would probably be, if I had to say lyrically, it would be, I have to say it's Prince. And the reason I have to say the greatest songwriter to me is Prince, because Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis are my all-time favorites. but the respect level that I have for Gamble and Huff and McFadden and Whitehead is immense, because without them, you wouldn't have Jimmy and Terry. So it's like
Right.
I gotta
Right.
pay homage to my grandfather if I'm gonna
Exactly.
pay father to my fathers. You know what I'm saying? And then you
Sure.
gotta have Prince. So Jimmy and Terry are from that tree.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like lyrics to me, like I said, Free taught me that lyrics, you can be direct and you can be abstract, but say something. Say something that means something. Don't just say something to fill a rhyme or the line. Don't do that. Say something. Even if it don't rhyme, say something, because if it's meant from here, it'll connect.
Sure.
And that's why I would probably say Prince, man.
All right, we'll take Prince. All right, let's ask this last one and get you up out of here, man. This should be easy. Your favorite time of the day for love making?
Anytime.
Oh, sweet.
It
Sweet.
could be anytime.
Yeah, no, I
It
I
could be
understand
anytime.
totally. I understand totally. Hey, listen, Jazz, I want to thank you so much, man, for hanging out with me and the crew. Appreciate you, man. Nothing but
I
blessings
appreciate you, dog.
in the future. Yes, we'll stay up. We'll stay in touch. And again, man, thank you to Tony for connecting us. And
Definitely.
this,
Tony
this
Stone.
has been awesome. And so I totally I need you to say abracadabra one more time, though, bro. Just one more time.
Now I'm ready, though. Abracadabra. I'm vibing now.
It's all wonderful. So I want to thank you, friend. You can bet you, man. Listen, you drop something, you come on back. You call me. We'll make sure we put it out there for
Appreciate
you.
you, dog.
All right,
I
that's
appreciate
cool.
you, my dog.
All
Thank
right.
you
So
for
what?
having me, man.
Oh, you're welcome. Totally welcome. I want to thank everybody out there on social media, everybody watching. Appreciate you for hanging out with us. And the next time we come back, we're going to have another hot show. So as I always say in parting, please go with God in your heart. Have a peace of mind. Have a wonderful, wonderful tomorrow. And please take care of yourselves. Wear your mask, social distance, hand sanitize, but just overall take care of your health. So from Lula May and Cornelius' baby boy, I'm Shawn Cornelius saying good night. God bless you. And I'll catch you back here on the next episode of After Dark with Shawn Cornelius. Jazz, love you, brother. Take care of yourself.
No doubt.